Welcome back to Leadership Training Camp. In this lesson, I'd like to talk about staying hungry with a red belt mindset. Some of you may know I've enjoyed the martial arts for a number of years, and I find a lot of principles in the martial arts that work very well in business. And I can recall early on in my martial arts career, it's like the first few days in the karate studio, the instructor pointed to a wall and there were 12 belts on the wall. And from white belt to black belt, and these were the belts you'd have to go through to become a black belt in my style of karate. And he pointed to a red belt which looked like this. There were actually 3 different red belts, different ranks. This one was the one right next to black. And he said, "Do you see that red belt?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "The red belts are the most dangerous fighters in this studio or anywhere else you're likely to go and spar." Now, I was a little confused by that because I'm looking at the black belt and it's like, well, isn't that the objective, right? To at least become a black belt? And he said, "Don't get me wrong." He said, "We have some fantastic black belt fighters." He said, "But what often happens is somebody will pass their black belt test and they start to get the idea that they have arrived and they can become complacent." He said, "Even though there are 10 degrees of black belts, it can take you the rest of your life to get there, even if you're physically able." He said, "But the number one thing most black belts do after they pass their test is they start putting on weight because they're not training as hard." He said, "I've seen people pass the test and not come back to work out for months." He said, "And when they do come back, you know, they're just kind of taking it easy. They're going through the motions. They're walking around with their thumbs in their belt tubes like they're Jackie Chan giving advice to people." He said, "But the red belt," he said, "the red belt is still hungry. They know they haven't arrived. They're humble, they're teachable, they're coachable. They come in and prove themselves over again every day." He said, "I have seen more hungry red belts knock down or knock out complacent black belts." He said, "Here's the lesson I want you to get." He said, "If you ever get your black belt, continue to think like a red." He said, "Act like a challenger even if you're the champ." Challengers are hungry, humble, they have something to prove. Champs can get cocky, complacent, kind of start to lose their edge. So as he's telling me this, I'm thinking, okay, I get it. But I also see the relation to this in business, because so often in business, we become our version of a black belt, right? Best month ever, best year ever, #1 in our area, #1 in the nation, whatever. And if we're not careful, the same thing can start to take hold. We can start to let up. We can start to become complacent and lose our edge. And we do our version of putting on weight in a business. We don't take chances anymore. No mature risks. We don't change anything. We just start to maintain. We don't hold people accountable. And so it's so important, if you're going to continue to grow as a leader, that you maintain a red belt mindset, that you come in and prove yourself over again every single day. In fact, we have had clients get red belts for all of their managers, and they keep them in their office just to remind everyone, as a nice visual, you haven't arrived yet. Doesn't matter if you're #1. Yesterday ended last night. You've got to come in and prove yourself over again every day. Stay hungry. Make sure your goals are big enough to stretch you. Make sure your goals are compelling enough to where you can't hit them with business as usual. Make sure you understand that you still have a lot to learn, right? That you don't become a know-it-all, that you have to come in and continue to upgrade your skills. It's that type of mindset. The I haven't arrived, I'm hungry, I've got an intense desire, a compelling craving that stops you from plateauing and helps you to continue to grow and grow your team over time. And I'll tell you what, if you lose the red belt hunger, your team's going to see it, and they're going to lose it as well. When the leader lets up a little, the team tends to let up a lot. I mean, you've heard me say, if you catch cold, the team will come down with pneumonia. There's this exponential effect. And so you've got to set the tone. You've got to act and think and execute like a red belt day in and day out. Doesn't matter what you've done in the past. Doesn't matter what your rank is now. Every day is a new day. It's a blank canvas. You come in and you prove it all over again. And if you can do that as the leader and instill that in your culture, you're going to continue to play to win rather than maintaining and playing not to lose. You'll keep the upper hand on your business and grow consistently to new levels. But it starts with you. Think red belt and get your team on that same page. We'll talk again real soon in another lesson.